Is Carson Lovelady, and I am here to answer the research question: is there a correlation between social media usage and students' GPA? So let's get right into the action. Background and introduction. Social media is a piece of technology that many students around the world use day to day to communicate with one another and gather information about the latest news. Even though social media has become so prevalent, many people have developed many concerns about the use of social media by college students. Studies show that social media is correlated with depression, anxiety, and several other negative outcomes, including a lower academic performance, as we are about to find out by reading the rest of this. A study by Yamir uh, support the A study by Ymir supports the idea that increased social media use is linked to a lower GPA and even depression. Next, a study by Gail, Eisenstadt, and O suggests that using social media for academic purposes, such as communicating with instructors and other students, is positively correlated with GPA scores. So basically, what that means is that using like GroupMe, for example, to communicate with your fellow students, th- using social media in that way is correlated with higher GPA scores, so that may be a good idea to start doing. Next, a survey by Kolak involving 637 Turkish students suggests that using social media while studying can negatively impact academic performance and attention control. So basically, what Kolak is saying is that uh, multitasking between social media and studying is negatively associated with academic performance. So it's not a good idea to multitask between social media and studying. Next, studies by Hammam, Kandanchi, Tahir, and Gadar show that excessive social media use is negatively associated with GPA scores. More is negatively associated with GPA scores, more absences from school, and a lower passing rate. Now, next, to evaluate these claims, we then tested our sample. Okay, our hypothesis is that there is a negative association between hours spent on social media. So, as hours spent on social media go up, we believe that GPA will go down. Methods. Our participants were 95 students from a small private liberal arts college in the southeastern United States. Okay. All participants completed an online survey consisting of 20 questions that asked about various behaviors and demographics. Please note that for my research question of interest, on the survey regarding GPA scores, one represents a GPA of 0 to 0.99, two represents a GPA of 1 but 1.49, three represents a GPA of 1.5 to 1.99, 4 represents a GPA of 2, the 2.49. 5 represents the GPA of 2.5, the 2.99. 6 represents the GPA of 3, the 3.49. And 7 represents the GPA of 3.5, the 4. Next, regarding time spent on social media, 1 represents none, 2 represents 3 hours or less. 3 represents 3 to 6 hours spent on social media. Six, 3 represents 3 to 6 hours spent on social media. 4 represents 6 to 9 hours spent on social media per day. 5 represents 9 to 12 hours spent on social media. And 6 represents 12 to 15 hours spent on social media. After signing up, participants were directed to a secure web page to be a SurveyMonkey. They completed an informed consent statement, took the survey, and then read a debriefing statement. Now onto the analysis and results. A Pearson's correlation coefficient between cumulative GPA and time spent on social media each day was conducted to test the relationship between the two variables with a 95% confidence interval. Results are shown here in this graph on the right. As we can see by this graph, there is virtually no association at all. If there was a negative correlation, like we hypothesized, there'd be a line that you'd be able to see a line that starts here at the top left that travels down to the bottom right. But we do not see that. There is basically a flat line indicating that there is no association here at all. And this may be due to the fact that there seems to be a little bit of a floor effect in our data, which basically means that all of our variable scores tended to uh, be tended to score towards the lower end of the spectrum. So there is no significant correlations between the two variables here at all. As we can see, there is an outlier here on the very left where a few people said they spend no time on social media at all, but they still got a extremely low GPA. Now on to our GPA mean. The GPA mean was the average was 6.17, and our standard GPA deviation was between our standard deviation was 1.179 for our GPA. Now for our social media mean was 2.87 with a standard deviation of 0.914. Our R statement is 92 R 92 degrees of freedom equals 0.066 with a p-value that is greater than 0.05, the 95% confidence interval between negative 0.267 and positive 0.140. Next, onto our discussion. We hypothesize that there would be a negative correlation between hours spent on social media and GPA scores. Our research suggests that there is no correlation between hours spent on social media and GPA scores at all. Our results do not support any of the studies referenced that indicate that there is a correlation between social media use and GPA. Our findings suggest that there is no correlation between social media usage and GPA, but one should still be conscientious of the amount of time you spend on social media and the kind of content you are consuming online. Limitations and future directions. A limitation of this study was due to the fact that a survey method was used because since this is a survey was conducted on a self-report basis, people tend to report answers that are very biased or just not plain truthful at all. And another limitation that this study has is that another limitation that this survey has is that why people use social media was not taken into account by the survey. And future studies should focus on developing a more accurate method of study. And if we uh, another study investigating this topic were to happen again, we should they they should really try to put focus exclusively on uh, questions talking about social media and their academic performance. Because the survey that was used did not focus on, only had one question focusing on social media use habits. What we could do to go a little bit deeper and really get to the bottom of uh, the situation is ask more, thorough questions about their habits, what media sites they're using, and much time they spend on social media. Next, to sum everything up, our results show that there is no correlation between social media use and GPA. These results contradict many other studies, thus, a more thorough analysis of the variables should be considered. And as always, if you have any questions, please contact me, Carson Lovelady, at clovela2 at my.athens.edu. Thanks. Bye.